few years ago, I learned I had a genetic mutation that predisposed me to breast cancer. At my doctor's recommendation, I had a prophylactic bilateral mastectomy with implant reconstruction. In simpler terms, my breasts were amputated, and I had implants inserted so that I could look normal again. There were two huge problems with all of this. The implants. They made it feel like my chest was tearing apart from inside with every breath I took. And I couldn't lie down flat at night to sleep because of the pain. So I slept propped up, surrounded by a pillow fortress, and it cut me off from my husband. Looking normal wasn't worth this. I wanted deconstruction. I needed to breathe and sleep comfortably. I wanted to reach across the bed to hold my husband's hand as I fell asleep at night. But my plastic surgeon was concerned. He was concerned about the impact that removing the implants, that my appearance would have on my life. It brought up a few major questions. If I was flat and scarred, would my husband still find me attractive and want to be with me? What would my family say? Would my friends still want to hang out with me, or would my new body make them uncomfortable? This choice between the implants and looking normal or being comfortable in my own body came with a potentially profound cost of connection. And this is an incredibly vulnerable position to be in. But I said yes. I had the implants removed because my health is more important than someone else's opinion about what makes me beautiful. So what does my story have to do with you? Well, changes in our appearance can be hard, regardless of what they are. They can make you question and doubt your attractiveness, or question the strength of your relationships. Maybe someone's negative comments that were said to you years ago are still stuck in your mind. So what do you do? How do you deal with physical change and still feel beautiful? Well, my goal today is big. I want to give you beauty for life. And it comes with a fairy tale, a mirror, and a little bit of magic. So let's start with what you want to get from beauty. I propose that what you hope to get is connection and relationships. You want to be someone that other people want to be with. So you do your best to be attractive and beautiful. But what does that mean? What came to your mind first? Was it your looks, or was it your personality? Did you think about both? If you feel like this just became another superficial conversation about beauty, stay with me. Most of you will, when asked what beauty is, most of you will tell me that it's what's inside. You'll generously describe others as beautiful based on their personality and their actions. But you can also think of someone as unattractive based on their personality and actions. Think about the evil queen in Snow White. You meet her as the most beautiful woman in the land. But in the end, her actions are anything but beautiful. And because of that, we never think about her or describe her as beautiful. Inner beauty influences your perception of outer beauty. But let's talk about you. things get complicated and they get messy when you start to describe yourself. And this is because you don't see your inner beauty, and it makes you a much harsher critic. It makes you a harsher critic because all you see is your physical appearance when you look in the mirror. And this inability to see your inner beauty with your outer beauty creates a double standard for you that sets you up for failure. You are human, and you were not born in a static body. To be human is to change. So you need to change the way that you look at yourself and embrace a beauty philosophy that is realistic and not what we've been doing. See, your energy and your body are a dynamic duo that make up the wholeness of your beauty. And this duo has nothing to do with perfection. Beauty has room for imperfection. The evil queen didn't have a talking mirror. She leaned into her mirror and she got lost. Her story could have been radically different if she had allowed for change with some grace. We are not wax figures. They might be perfect, but they don't have our spark. And you would never say, I want to meet up with a wax figure for a cup of coffee. My guess is that you'd much rather meet up with an imperfect friend for that cup of coffee. Why? Well, those wax figures don't offer any opportunity for connection. Relationships need energy, not perfection. And I get it. Sometimes physical change can be overwhelming. And we do have those moments. Maybe you've had one yourself where you've looked in the mirror, you've seen the changes, and you've thought, I don't look like myself anymore. So there's no point in what I do. But if you do this, you lose. Because you've forgotten that there is more to your beauty than your body or the one thing that you're dissatisfied with. Being unable to see your beauty damages your ability to believe that other people want to be with you. And that is terrifying because we need connection. This fear of being unattractive usually creates a few different reactions. We try to find a solution to whatever it is that we think is a problem. We might try to pull back from our relationships. Maybe you refuse to be in the family photo. Or you do a combination of the two. I want to share a story with you. Back in the 1960s, there was a 19-year-old actor who was starting to go bald. And he was convinced that everything in his life was over. Acting, women, everything was over. And to give you some context, this was long before the hashtag bald is beautiful. Back in the 1960s, balding was something that maybe you tried to hide. Whatever the perception was at the time, he was terrified of the change that was happening to him. And he started slouching to hide his baldness. he was ashamed. And this shame and embarrassment was killing his career as an actor because he needed to be confident and to stand up straight and to portray him. Well, luckily, he had some friends who genuinely cared about him. They cared about the potential that they saw in him. And so they staged an intervention. This intervention helped him regain his confidence, and it changed the course of his life. In the last 60 years, Sir Patrick Stewart has been knighted for his acting and gotten married. He found career success and love. We got Captain Picard and Professor X. Everybody won. It was never the baldness that would have held him back. It was shame. And I get it. Nobody wants to feel less than they were. But part of that is how you choose to think about beauty. So, how do you do this? Well, first of all, I want you to know that you have more control over how people perceive you and connect with you than you think. So in order to feel beautiful in the midst of imperfection or change, I have a secret I want to share with you. I want you to pretend that your mirror is magic and ask it to show you all of you. Step back from your mirror so that you can see the wholeness of your beauty. When you look in the mirror and you ask it to show you all of you, I want you to ask yourself, what energy do I bring into the world? How do I make others feel? What makes me, me? Look for this when you look in the mirror. This will make all the difference in the world. It will allow you to see those changes that have happened, but still recognize that inner beauty as well. It allows you to be a whole person. And that is what people fall in love with. As you start doing this, you will hear voices putting you down. But those voices aren't from the mirror. That's your inner critic. So when you have bad days and that inner critic pops up, because it will, I want you to write down one thing on a note card that is beautiful about you and keep it close to your mirror. And when that bad day comes, I want you to take it out, read it, look in the mirror, and ask it to show you all of you. See your inner and outer beauty. And if someone else says something negative about you, remember that you don't have to accept everything that is given to you. You can choose to let some of it go. When I lost my breasts and my clothing didn't look the same, and I was questioning why it even mattered, what I looked like or what I did anymore, I ended up finding hard. I looked in the mirror. I chose to see all of myself, and I adapted my personal style to include things that I hadn't really worn before, such as off-the-shoulder blouses. And it made it much easier to let go of the things that I loved and could no longer wear. I discovered that being flat doesn't stop me from being me. And I've become friends with my mirror. I ask it to show me all of me, and day by day, I've learned to feel beautiful and whole again. with scars and without breasts. But I had to step back and adapt. Your beauty never leaves you. You just need to learn to step back from your mirror, ask it to show you all of you, and accept what you see as beautiful. I am beautiful with my imperfections. And because I believe I'm beautiful, I can believe my husband when he walks in the door and says, "Hello, beautiful." Do you believe the people in your life who tell you that you are beautiful? Beauty doesn't lie in perfection. It lies in wholeness and a willingness to find heart when change inevitably happens. So take a step back from your mirror, be you, and be that imperfect and beautiful friend that says yes to meeting for coffee. Thank you.